our session today is how to succeed on LinkedIn, building brand relationships and your network. And maybe some of you have had this experience before or heard stuff like this before. I never think that you can hear it too much, but if this is new to you, you're in the right place. And I'm really thrilled that you all have joined us today. And, we want to explore how we can help elevate you, your presence, your strength, your relationships, and really expand your influence on LinkedIn. And this session is part of an ongoing community for learning. We want to continue these series. We'll be doing them monthly, maybe. Or every other month. We're putting together the program now. So if you have ideas or thoughts or other people that you want to join in,
Lost you.
You're on. You went to mute, Jen.
how did that happen?
I
Okay.
did it. It was I did it.
Oh, okay.
I was admitting people
I
and
was like, what?
I'm sorry.
Sorry, guys. So yeah, I don't know where I stopped at, but why does this matter for customer success? Because some of you are probably like, I'm not that active on LinkedIn and I'm doing okay. But we all have personal brands. And there's a huge opportunity here that Steve's going to really share with us the details here. But your brand is now a strategic asset. Um, you know, it's really important to have some type of presence, and a strong presence is better. And it's going to help you. It's going to help you build relationships with your clients faster, build trust with them. It's also going to provide insights for you to showcase your expertise. Why should they trust you? Strengthen relationships across all of your books of business and really expand your network and unlock new opportunities. Maybe you're looking for a job, maybe you're looking for a promotion. You need to be top of mind. So today's session is really designed to equip you with exactly those capabilities. So, a quick introduction of Steve here, who's going to be leading us in this conversation. But it's just my absolute pleasure to have him join us because I know Steve's power. He helps me all the time. And he's widely recognized as one of the leading voices in the social selling, executive brand strategy. And at Seismic, he plays like a tremendous role for helping the go-to-market teams develop authentic, high impact LinkedIn presence that really strengthens relationships, and it's going to drive measurable outcomes, right? You're going to expand your network, you're going to have more engagement. So, Steve brings a wealth of hands on experience, practical frameworks, and a passion for just empowering professionals. So, without further delay, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to turn it over to the very um, important here, Steve Watt. So there you go.
Well, thank you, Jen, and thank you, Emily, for inviting me in. Really happy to be here. Let me just take a moment here to tee a few things up. All right. So I'm going to jump right in here, but I do want to say that I am going to definitely make sure that I time things such that we have an opportunity for questions and conversation towards the end, because having done many, many sessions similar to this for a whole lot of firms in a whole lot of places and a whole lot of industries, I always find that the conversation at the end is usually just as valuable as what precedes it. And as I was putting together my thoughts and what I wanted to talk about today, I just started thinking, like, it's become so immense, the amount of things that you could talk about with LinkedIn and the amount of things that I have talked about in various workshops in various times and places. So, I mean, if y'all have about 8 or 10 hours, we can do all of this, but I don't think anyone does. So we're going to have to focus. We're going to have to pick where it is that we want to drill in. So in speaking with Emily and Jen about who this group is and what the purpose is, what's the job to be done of this group, it became pretty clear that, there's those who are actively in a job search motion who are here today. Great. There's those who are working but are sniffing around looking for something else. And there's those that love their current job and they want to just keep getting better at it. And the good news is that if we kind of think differently and approach LinkedIn differently, there's benefit for all three of these groups. And I want to start with learning and getting better at what we do, because I think this is maybe one of the single most overlooked aspects of LinkedIn is what you can learn. There's a lot of people who ignore LinkedIn or show up every few years when they're looking for a job. There's a lot of people who just sort of treat it like a soapbox to stand on and holler at the world, but they never listen. They never learn. There are so many smart people out there sharing so much great stuff that if you make a conscious effort to listen and to follow the right people, it can be an incredible source of learning, regardless of whether you're in job search motion or any other motion. And one time I challenged myself to think, okay, how many people do I learn from on LinkedIn? Because I was challenging people in workshops. I was saying, like if you can't name 10 or 15 people that you're learning from on LinkedIn, you're missing an opportunity. So I thought I better challenge myself. And I just sat down without looking at my screen and I just started writing names. How many people do I at least semi-regularly learn something from? And I got up to about 25. And then I went into my saved posts. And let me say, if you don't save posts and periodically review what you've saved, you're missing an opportunity. I found about another 25 people where I was like, oh, yeah, I totally forgot about her. She's awesome. So I had about 50 people and I put them up on the screen in a workshop that I did. I had my marketing people, I had my sales people, I had my leadership people, my entrepreneurship people. And I just thought, oh my God, I have become smarter in so many ways for so many years thanks to these people. So I want to get that plug in there because LinkedIn isn't just a billboard for yourself. And it's not just an opportunity to talk to people or talk at people. It's an opportunity to listen and to learn. And I really urge you to embrace that. Going beyond that, it's a great opportunity for those in CS roles like yourselves to elevate the way your customers see you. For many people, their customers see them through an email and they see them on a quarterly business review or in some sort of direct business motion. They don't really see you outside of that. LinkedIn presents a tremendous opportunity for you to elevate yourself and build, your stature in your customers' minds off cycle. When you're not on a call with them, when you're not sending them an email, when you're not responding to something that they need from you, to elevate yourself as a professional in your space. And by doing that, you are elevating your firm as well. This is something that more and more corporate leaders are starting to understand, is that we shouldn't just be asking our people to go blast our company's promotional content. We should actually enable and empower our people to show up like experts in their space, because not only does it make them look good, it makes all of us look good. It makes the company look good. Reputation. Everyone knows about how you can build your external reputation on LinkedIn. I want to talk about how you can also build your internal reputation. If you're in a company of anything more than a couple hundred people, nobody knows everybody. They really don't. And if you're in a really big company, the vast majority of people don't know who you are. And that is a career limiting obstacle. And when you are good on LinkedIn, when you're consistently good on LinkedIn, all of a sudden your stature within your own firm goes up amongst your peers and amongst the leaders in your firm. And I had this became so incredibly clear to me at the first big event, in-person event that Seismic had after the worst of COVID. So it was maybe like 2022, I think it probably was. And we brought in like 1,500 employees from all around the world. And it was the opening night cocktail party. And I walked in with a friend and coworker of mine. And, we walked in and we get 3 steps in and someone's like, Steve. And like, it's like handshakes, high fives, someone else, Steve, hugs. And this went on as we went through the place. Like every few steps, someone was coming over, big smile on their face, embracing me, excited to see me. And I'd never met any of these people in person before. And after this happened about 8 or 10 times, my friend and colleague turned to me and said, how come everyone knows you and nobody knows me? And I said, well, what do you do on LinkedIn? And he was like, oh, yeah, nothing. Okay, so internal reputation, huge opportunity. And of course, if you are actively looking for a job, tremendous opportunity to elevate yourself above the noise. There's so much more that we could talk about, so much going on here, but let's just start there. And would you be kind enough to just pop in the chat? Which are you? Are you a one, a two, or a three? Um, I don't think anyone's going to object to calling themselves a one or calling themselves a three. If anyone's hesitant to call themselves a two and they just want to send it to me in private chat, that's fine too. I would just love to get a sense of what we've got here in the room here. I'm just going to take a moment and take a quick look. Lots of ones, some twos, and a lot of ones, threes, bunch of twos. Okay, actually, it looks like a pretty mixed basket with a bit of a slant towards active job seeking. Okay, thank you. That's going to be helpful for me as I go to kind of choose what stories to tell and where to focus. All right, so our bottom line here, whether you're a one, two, or three, or anything else, this session today is about how modern professionals can rise above the noise to build reputation, relationships, and trust at scale. And I want to start by just emphasizing what an extremely noisy world we all live in. I mean, everywhere that we go and everywhere that everybody goes, we're inundated with messaging, sales marketing, sales messaging, marketing messaging, everything. It starts to get a little bit overwhelming. Our inboxes are absolutely jammed with prospecting messages. Most of us stopped answering unknown callers years ago, or if we do, we answer with great hesitation. This is kind of the way most people look and most people feel right now. And the thing is, this creates, both an opportunity as well as a problem. I mean, it's a problem because it's really hard to be seen, it's hard to be heard, it's hard to be understood. But the opportunity is when we do what other people don't do, we truly can rise above that. But most people aren't doing what others don't do. Most people are doing nothing, or they're doing the same really basic things that they've been doing for years and that everybody else does. And we all sort of look the same. We look the same when we do that. We all sound the same. We're not rising above the noise. We are the noise. We're just blending into the noise. And whether it's, you're in a job search motion and you want to stand out from others who also have good experience and everything like that, or whether you want to elevate yourself in front of your customers, in front of the leadership of your own firm. I mean, everybody is overwhelmed. Everybody's shutting all the noise out, and they don't know who to listen to. They don't know who to give their time to, and they don't know who to trust. The opportunity for us on LinkedIn is how we can become the one that they actually want to listen to, and even better, the one that they actually want to speak with. And I do a lot of workshops for salespeople, and I really emphasize this for salespeople that, you are hammering people with emails and phone calls, and you're double tapping them and all this kind of stuff just to try to get someone to talk to you. But what are you doing to make them want to talk to you? But it's not just for salespeople. This is an opportunity for all of us, because the more people who actually want to listen to us, the more people who actually want to speak with us, it sort of floats all boats in terms of our careers, our advancement within our firms, and more. This is a tremendous opportunity, and we can do it on social, but a lot of people have a really, I'm going to come back a couple times to sort of old-fashioned mindsets that hold us back. And it starts right here, is this idea that social is something that marketing does. It's something those people over there do. And I'm here to say social is something that we can all do for our own good, and if we're presently employed, for the good of our firm. And what I mean by that is that, marketing can build the company's reputation. They can't build your reputation. That's on you. Marketing can drive a bunch of people to your company's website. They can't build your network. That's also on you. If you're working today, maybe marketing is going to help you in some ways with some content, some training, some tools. Maybe they're not, but they can't do it for you. This is an opportunity for you to do something that others are not doing, to build your reputation as a modern client-centric professional, to form a whole lot of new relationships and keep nurturing and strengthening existing ones. I mean, I can't tell you the number of people that I worked with many years ago, or they were a client of mine many years ago, and we would have absolutely drifted apart. No, no intent on either side. Just everybody's busy. The world is noisy. They would have forgotten about me. I would have forgotten about them. But because of what we're doing on LinkedIn, we still have a degree of a relationship, and it can be incredibly valuable when we get out there and we get involved in all sorts of business conversations. Mark that word conversation, because I'm going to come back to that in a moment. If you're in any sort of sales outreach role, getting on people's radar and staying on their radar without bombing them, as I said a moment ago, is super important. But ultimately, whatever we're doing, whoever we are, whatever our objectives are, trust is the foundation for success. And if we approach LinkedIn in particular ways, we can build trust. A lot of people, frankly, are burning trust on LinkedIn through bad behavior. Let's call that out and let's build good behavior. If you're working for a firm right now, they may well have some sort of employee advocacy program. And in many cases, it's just asking you to be a Wi-Fi extender for marketing. Hey, everyone, reshare this post. Hey, everyone, tell the world we won an award. Hey, everyone, share this, share this. That's not going to be particularly effective. We're going to have to do better. We're going to have to do something more. We don't, a lot of people ask me, do I need a Facebook strategy? Do I need a Twitter strategy? Do I need a TikTok strategy? All this stuff. I say, honestly, you really don't. If you like those platforms and you want to go do something there, go for it. It's not for me to tell you not to, but I'm here to ask you to re-examine LinkedIn, because I know that every single one of you has a LinkedIn profile and probably have had for many years, but you probably haven't really re-examined what you're doing there and why. And you maybe haven't caught the three big changes that have happened on LinkedIn in recent years. I've been on LinkedIn. Well, so LinkedIn's now 20, I think it's 25 years, will be 25 years old in May. Pretty sure it is 25 in May. I think I've been there for 22 of those years. I worked for LinkedIn more than a decade ago. I've been all over it for all this time. And I'll tell you, it's way different today than it was even 5 years ago. LinkedIn used to be entirely corporate, right? It was job postings and advertising and polished PR statements. LinkedIn has become far more human in recent years, far more our stories, our voices, our challenges, our learnings. LinkedIn has also gone from being very much a broadcast channel where you just sort of hollered at the world or you pushed things out and hoped that good things happened. It's become much more of a conversation. And a lot of people have missed these changes, and they're still operating as if it is a corporate broadcast channel. And as a result, they're still just promoting, whether they promote themselves or they promote their company, promote, like they're always asking for something. They always want something. But what gets you ahead today and what makes you stand out in positive ways is when you educate, inspire, and help others. That is an entirely different mindset, and everything sort of builds from there. And it's these old mindsets, as I said a moment ago, that hold us back. We were all told at one point, oh, you need to upload your resume to LinkedIn. And those were literally the words that I was told almost 20 whatever years ago. Upload your resume to LinkedIn. And a lot of people sort of got stuck in that mindset, and they've never gone beyond thinking of LinkedIn as a place to park your resume. I want to challenge that. A lot of people see it very much as an advertising channel, just hype and promote nonstop. I want to challenge that. For anyone who is in a sales or a prospecting or a business development motion, I want to challenge the notion that it's just a hunting ground. It's just like a giant Rolodex full of people that you can come barreling into their world with a cadence of asks and set the world on fire. That doesn't tend to work anymore. Let's challenge those old mindsets and let's replace it with a new one. Let's replace it with the idea that LinkedIn is a conversation, and it's the greatest ongoing business conversation the world has ever seen. And it's happening 24/7 with or without you. You can absolutely ignore it. You can just say it's not for me. That's entirely your prerogative, but I certainly don't recommend it, because this conversation is where jobs are found, is where reputations are built, is where business opportunities are formed. This is where so much is happening. And when you participate in it with a conversational mindset, Not a resume mindset, not an advertising, not a hunting mindset, but a conversational mindset. It opens up so many opportunities. And every single one of you is good at conversations, right? I could pop you into the cocktail hour at a conference and you'd know how to talk to people. I could put you outside a boardroom while everyone's grabbing coffee before a big meeting. You'd know how to talk to people. Why do we get on LinkedIn and we lose it? Why do we forget how to talk to people and we just either, completely clam up or we become like a promotional robot? We can do so much better. And it's really not hard. There's really only three things. There's only three parts to what it is. One is to rethink the job to be done of your profile. Move beyond that place you all started, and I did too, that it's just your resume. And instead, make it a market facing asset. Ask yourself, who do I need to reach? If I'm in a job search motion, I need to reach recruiters in my industry. If I'm presently working and loving my job, I need to reach customers and prospects and partners and others who can help me and help my firm. Whoever it is that you need to reach, write your profile with them in mind. And you know what they don't particularly care about? They don't particularly care about a boring list of everywhere that you used to work. If they are a recruiter, they're going to see that on your resume when you apply. Give them something else on your profile. And if you're not in a job search motion, certainly your customers, your prospects, and your partners don't particularly care where you worked 10 years ago. They care about who you are today and what you do and who you do it for and how you can help them. When you reframe the job to be done of your profile as an audience facing, market facing asset, now you're on a great path. But you got to get more people seeing your profile because precious few will if you're not active on LinkedIn. And we need to get out there with what I call a balanced diet of high quality content. Think about the way you need to eat from different food groups in order to be healthy. You can't just eat meat or you can't just eat vegetables. You can't just eat fruit. You got to mix it up. And when you do the same on LinkedIn, I'm going to go a little deeper into each of these things, so I won't belabor the point right now. But this idea of regularly sharing a balanced diet, a great mixture of content, is going to take you a long, long way because most people aren't doing it. So you can definitely rise above the noise. And then finally, it's engaging with others. I said it's a conversation. I mean it. It's a conversation. And I've spoken to countless people who say, look, I've got a great profile. I share a good balanced diet of content. How come I'm really not getting anywhere? And I asked them about their engagement strategy, and they don't have one. They've got no idea. Again, if we believe it's a conversation, we got to get out into the middle of that room and we got to start talking to some people. We've got to engage with others. We've got to do it in human ways. I'll go deeper into each of these three. But if you need a little reminder to put on your wall and say, what are the three things I need to really invest in for my own good on LinkedIn? Screenshot this page because I think this is really where the opportunity is. All right, I'm going to just go quickly through this because I do want to leave a bunch of time for questions at the end. But people say, okay, so what exactly do you mean by a good profile, by an audience-centric profile? And I'm not here to tell you that my profile is perfect, but it works for me. So I'll show you what I do and why, and then you can use that for your own purposes. First off, a well-chosen header image, whether it's your corporate image, whether it's the skyline from your city or the mountains you like to hike in on the weekends, whatever it may be, not the default gray thing. Nothing says I don't understand LinkedIn and I don't care about LinkedIn like that default banner that LinkedIn gives you if you don't add something else. So add something that makes sense. Take a look at your photo. Is it semi-recent at least? Is it kind of warm and approachable? Is it well lit? Is it zoomed in enough? Remember that half or more of everyone is going to look at your profile on their phone. It's going to be, I see people who've got these photos. It's like almost a full body photo, or it's dark. It's like really poorly lit. And if you're on a phone, you have no chance of seeing that person's face. Big missed opportunity. Think about your photo. Think about your headline. Now, this is a contentious issue. I once had, it sounds like I'm making this up, but I swear it's true. I had a 90-minute debate with the CEO of a social selling firm only about headlines. And after 90 minutes, I could not convince him of my philosophy, and he could not convince me of his. So we decided that it was futile and we should move on with our lives. It's that contentious. Some people say, it should absolutely be your title and the firm that you work for. Some say it should be a value delivery statement, like I help X achieve Y. Some people say you should be quirky or funny and talk about, how much you love, espresso or whatever it may be, or the fact that you're a dog mom. Like there is no right way. There's like full stop. There is no right and wrong way. Well, there might be a wrong way. There's no right way. The wrong way is if it's irrelevant and uninteresting to the people that you want to reach. So again, just like we did with our whole overall philosophy of our profiles, when we zoom into our headlines, say, who do I need to reach? And what would actually be relevant and interesting for them to make them want to read more? Just think about like with an email, right? Email marketing 101. The job of the subject line is not to sell the product or whatever it is. It's to get them to open it. It's to get them to read a little bit more. So your headline's job is to get people to want to at least think this person may be interesting and relevant to me in some way, whatever that may be. Because if they quickly decide that you're not relevant, they're done. And remember that the people who see your headline go way, 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 way beyond the people who actually visit your profile. Because every time you share a piece of content, there's your headline. Every time you comment, there's your headline. Every time you like something, there's your headline. So probably for every one person who actually comes to your full profile, potentially several hundred people are just going to see your picture, your name, and your headline. So make your headline work for you. Write the about section if you don't already have it, and be human about it. A lot of people don't even have the about section because it's not part of the standard thing when you uploaded your resume, right? You've got to edit profile, add section, add the about section, and tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, who you do it for, what makes you different, what gets you jumping out of bed in the morning. Do it as a story, do it lighthearted, do it like whatever works for you. I've seen many, many, many good about sections, and they've all been different in some way. But a bad about section is that just boring resume talk. 15 years of demonstrated experience in keyword, 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 keyword. Nobody cares. Be more human and tell us a little bit something about yourself. Use the featured content to put some of your relatively recent stuff. It's kind of like hanging something on the clothesline. Everybody comes by is going to see that. And expand on your roles and the jobs that you have had and the firms you've worked for in the experience section. Most people don't do this at all. Their experience section, again, it's just a resume. It's I worked at this company in this role for 3 years. I worked at this company in this role for 2 years. Who is this company? What did you do? I don't know. So expand on a little bit, context and, who is this company? What was your role? And what were, either like your focus areas or accomplishments or something. Just again, if you want to make it work for recruiters, it's going to be a little different than if you want to make it work for customers. But at the end of the day, know who you're talking to and do and say things that are going to be interesting and relevant for them. You got to get past the boring old resume and nothing else. All right, enough of that. Let's move up to the middle of the pyramid here. Your content strategy. I said it's like eating a balanced diet. So different food groups. Now, from the perspective of someone who is presently working, presently happy with my job, not actively looking, one of the food groups for me is my employer's content. Now, that's going to be true for many of you. If you're in a job search motion, probably not. But we don't stop there anyways. We have additional food groups. We have content about the industries that we are experienced in and that we care about the roles and the professions that we have. We have maybe content about how AI is changing things. We have content about all sorts of other things. And we can also have some more personal stuff. I don't recommend talking about sports or food or travel nonstop on LinkedIn. That's a little weird, but I absolutely do recommend that you talk about it sometimes because we're not worker robots, right? We're real flesh and blood human beings, and human beings have interests outside of their job. And when we bring some of that onto LinkedIn, we're a lot more interesting, a lot more approachable, and a lot more human. And it doesn't mean you need to go all super vulnerable and super, personal unless you want to. but lighten up a little bit is sort of the message for a lot of people, and make your your content strategy, make it businessy but not exclusively business. And then I strongly recommend that you write some of your own posts, that you share some photos from those events that you go to. You have something more that shows that you're not just reposting other people's content, you are actually creating a bit of content. Hardly anyone does that. I mean, frankly, if you do this part here and you do it and you always write a little something about why you're sharing this and what you learned from it, already you're ahead of the crowd. But when you do this part here, you go way ahead of the crowd. And then at the top of the pyramid, as we head towards the end of my little talk here, the engagement strategy. Scroll your feed, follow interesting people and organizations and companies that are relevant and interesting to you, such that you learn more, as I said at the very beginning, and then actively start liking their posts and go beyond like. I don't even use the like anymore. I couldn't tell you the last time I actually hit the thumbs up like. To me, that's so basic. I mouse over it on my desktop or my laptop, or I press and hold on my phone, and up pops love, support, celebrate, inspirational, funny. One of those reactions is always more interesting than like. And in a day, I will love, celebrate, support, inspired, funny, several dozen posts. And it always stands out a little bit because 90% of people never do anything except the routine like. So engage, but go beyond the like, and go further with some good comments, leaving, at least a few thoughtful comments every day. It's like a superpower on LinkedIn in so many ways. I mean, it's so much easier than writing posts. It's so much quicker. People really appreciate when you leave a comment, and don't just try to speed run it with the like spot on, great post, thumbs up emoji. Like take a moment and actually say something, and something that would be appreciated by the person who posted it, because you're speaking to them in part, but you're also speaking to everybody else who looks in. So if we do believe, as I do, that it's a conversation, we need to speak. And speaking doesn't just happen through our posts, it happens through our comments. Respond when other people comment on your content or on your comments. This one drives me nuts. It's just bad manners. And, you ask a question in the comments and they ignore you. They never answer it. Or you express like sincere appreciation for what they've shared or whatever. They don't even hit the like on your comment. They just ignore you. And after a while, you just stop engaging with them. Like I still remember this guy. I'm not going to name him. But CRO at a pretty big, decently well-known company several years ago, he, or perhaps someone in his marketing team or PR team or whatever, decided that he was going to become a big LinkedIn guy. And he started sharing some really good posts, really thoughtful, really thought-provoking posts. And when I read the first one, that was great. Like I learned a lot. And I spent about 10 minutes thinking about and writing a comment where I sort of praised what he'd shared and said how it resonated with me. And then I asked him a really relevant question. Completely ignored me. Okay, I guess he's busy, whatever. And then the next week, out came another post. Exact same thing happened. Ignored me again. When it happened the third time, I swore off that guy and I swore off his company. I believe he was doing more harm than good by throwing stuff out there and then ignoring the people who were at first sincerely appreciative of what he was doing. And then probably like me, they just got kind of pissed off because he was ignoring everyone. That is like broadcast. That is not conversation. So don't be that guy. And finally, trust the process. A lot of people and a lot of companies have unrealistic expectations. They think they're going to rock their world. They're going to advance their career. They're going to get a ton of opportunities. They're going to get a ton of job interviews, whatever it is, like right out of the gate. And then they get disillusioned when it doesn't. It's not a magic wand, right? It's like eating well. It's like going to the gym. You can't just do it for a week or two or three and think it's going to change your life. It's much more about making an ongoing commitment. More modest things done over a longer time are almost always more impactful than being a hero for a short period of time and then quitting. You got to trust the process because you really are building a new skill here and you're making an investment in yourself. I mean, those first posts, those first comments can be scary and challenging, and you can spend too long on them, and that's okay, because I promise you, it just gets so much more fluid and easy as you go, as you build that muscle. You're building your personal equity, which is your confidence and your competence. And they both are important, right? Your confidence to do this stuff, but your competence, your ability to do it well, is growing. And at the same time, your network equity is growing. That's the size of your network, yes, but it's also the conversations that happen within that network. It's the reputation, it's the relationships you're nurturing. And as these two things ladder up together, it becomes a very powerful thing. And I just want to kind of close out this part with what I hope is a inspirational message, is that it's really easy to be one of the best people on LinkedIn, because most people don't do anything, or they don't do much well. There's something like 350, probably pushing 400 million now active profiles. There's like a billion profiles, but there's people who've turned their back on them. There's bots, whatever. There's like 350 or 400 million active profiles, but only a few million people share anything in any given week. So, the bar is super low. If you do just like a bit of what I'm talking about, you could be top 5% in LinkedIn. And if you really lean into what I'm saying, you could be top 1% on LinkedIn pretty quickly. And I don't know anything else in my business life, my career, or in my private life where I could be global top 1% without spending 20 years toiling away trying to learn that skill and honing that skill and building a, new you just can't do it, right? In most things on LinkedIn, the bar is so low that you can literally be top 1%. It's not that hard. All right, let me just very quickly finish off because I want to get to the Q&A. This is basically top 5 tips for those who say, okay, that was a lot. Can't you just distill it down for me? I put the little camera here because when I do this at conferences, this is where everyone's camera comes up. It's just going to distill everything I just said into 5 tips, right? Your profile, look at it through the eyes of those you want to reach and influence. It can be so much more than your resume. Number 2, share the balanced diet of content, mix it up, make it more interesting for you, make it more interesting for those that you are hoping to reach. Number 3, embrace the public conversation with the likes, the loves, the celebrates, the comments, all of that. It is a really, really important part of all of this. Number 4, trust the process. As I said, it's like eating well or exercising. You got to commit. You don't have to be a hero every day. You don't have to be a hero every week. Just do small things and commit to doing them consistently. And finally, be human about it. I mean, as the cost, the financial cost and the effort to create AI posts, AI comments, all this stuff approaches zero, there's a flood of it. There's a flood of people who are essentially outsourcing their LinkedIn to AI. And I think it's a huge mistake, but it's an opportunity because those of us who remain human and have a bit of humor and have a bit of humbleness and engage in ways that people actually know it's really me. It's not like a bot that's just summarizing their post. We really have an opportunity to stand out when we are humans. All right, with that, as Jen said at the beginning, very much welcome people to send a connection request or to follow or whatever you want to do. I talk about this stuff all the time. I share videos. I share, lots of stuff in this area, and I read lots of things that other people share. So I'd be very happy to connect with you all. I hope that was interesting. I hope that was relevant. Let me take a breath and a sip of my water here. And then we got 15 minutes left, and I hope you guys have got some awesome questions or comments or conversation.
Yeah, we'll start with first of all, thank you, Steve. That was fantastic. That was a lot of information in a shorter period of time. I do hope you'll send over a couple slides that we can share with the community. We did get some questions in the chat, so I'll just swing those to you first. And then if everyone wants to keep the chat, going, great. If not, we'll do like questions by raised hand so that we can, take turns and ask questions while Steve is here. So one of the big questions that I get, that I know you get as well, Steve, that we'd like to highlight is, the open for work banner. Yay or nay on having that on your profile?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't think there's a clear answer, and there's a lot of people who believe strongly on both sides of that, as you probably know. I actually read a really interesting post from a guy who brought a little bit of, albeit personal data, to that just a few days ago. He said that when he first put up the green banner, the open to work banner, it did for the short term. I think he said the first 4 weeks or so, he got more views of his profile, and it just seemed like it seemed to be helping him. And then he said that benefit seemed to wear off around the 1 month part, and
Mhm.
what he was getting was a lot of spammy recruiter, like kind of scams. Um, and so he took it off after about 6 weeks. I don't know. I don't know the right answer there. I understand the philosophy on both sides. The philosophy
Mhm.
on one side is there's no shame in looking for work. I mean, layoffs are rampant. Like every company has faced them. Everybody, if they haven't already gone through it in their lives, they're gonna. It's like this is not like 50 years ago where there was shame associated with being laid off, looking for work. Not anymore. It's just reality for all of us. So why the hell wouldn't you use that? And then the other
Mhm.
side of it is there are recruiters and there are leaders who purposely only want to hire people who are presently working.
Yeah.
So why shine a light on the fact that you're not? I don't know the
Yeah.
right answer there. I'd
Okay.
say maybe try it for a while and see what you get and what you don't get, and then maybe take it off again like that guy did.
Another popular question that I know you've had before is how often is a good like post strategy to post on LinkedIn?
Yeah, that's an important question, Jen. I'm glad you asked that, or someone asked that in the chat, I think. I kind of have two answers there. When I'm talking to like super busy executives who swear that they have no time at all to do anything, I urge them to post once a week. And I say, look, just like you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Just like, some executives write like an internal email to their whole company once a week. You can post once a week on LinkedIn. To me, that is the absolute bare minimum. A much better place to be is 3 posts a week.
Mhm.
And the reason I say that is a lot of people have a misunderstanding about how the LinkedIn algorithm works, and they think, or at least they used to. Reach is really bad right now. We can talk about that. But people used to think that if they have 2,000 connections and that they shared something, then 2,000 people would see it. But it's a much smaller subset of your connections who are going to see it. In part because not everybody's active on LinkedIn, or certainly not active that day or that week, but also because the algorithm purposely tests your post and sends it to a
Right.
smaller group of people to see if it gets early comments and engagement. If it does, it starts to snowball. And if it doesn't, it kind of dies. So if you're only posting very infrequently, most people are never going to see you. So if you get
Mhm.
into a habit of 3 times a week, now you're just getting more at bats, right? You're getting more opportunity to be seen and heard. And if 3 times a week sounds like a lot, I'd reference you back to the balanced diet thing because that makes it a lot easier to do 3 times a week. If you're presently working, maybe you do one piece of corporate content each week and add your own introductory comments about why you're sharing it and what it means to you. Add one piece of industry content, something you're seeing that is like an industry source or something you're learning or whatever, and one piece of more personal stuff. Could be sports, travel, the board game night that you have with your friends on Fridays, like whatever it is. If you do 3 a week and make that a habit, now you are absolutely going to be seen. So somewhere in that range, some people. I'm not a big fan of these 30-day posting. Post every day for 30 days, post every day for 90 days. I've seen some people have success with that, and they say it's a way of kind of forcing themselves to do it. My problem there is very few people have something meaningful to share or to say every single day.
Yeah.
And so then you sometimes get into the tick box, just posting for the sake of posting. And I do believe that every good post trains people to pay attention to you, and every bad post trains people to ignore you. So I would rather you post 2 or 3 times a week and each one actually says something rather than posting 5 or 7 times a week but only having something meaningful to say, every couple of days. So
Yeah.
there's no,
Quality
there's
over
no like, again,
quantity.
with everything, there's no magic answer, but something in that kind of 3 times a week is probably really good.
Yeah, quality over quantity is what I'm
Yeah.
hearing for sure.
Quality over quantity, but then don't go so far that you obsess over quality and you think every post needs to be brilliant, a brilliant breakthrough, and then nothing's ever good enough for you, and then you never post. So quality over quantity, yes, but don't be obsessive about it.
Okay. Emily, you had a couple questions?
I did. It was mostly about feeling genuine. Like for often I'm on LinkedIn and I'm like, I'm gonna do 3 to 5 posts today, or I'm gonna comment on 3 to 5 posts that my network is posting. But it feels very in disingenuous, very transactional. Like like congratulations. How do I make my goals while still sounding like myself, and that I'm a genuine person and not just ticking off the box.
You don't want to
Follow
sound
more
cringy.
interesting people.
Yeah.
Seriously, follow more interesting people.
Mhm.
Because a lot of LinkedIn content is
Your friends
just,
are boring.
I got promoted. I got a new
Yeah.
job. Like, cool. Hey, if it's a friend of mine or I mean, like, hey, congratulations, Emily. Great. Do that. But yeah, I know what you mean. If that's all you're doing, you're kind of thinking, what I'm, if you follow more interesting people, there are a lot of people out there who share, as I said at the very beginning, about using LinkedIn as a way of pulling learning towards you. If you make a concerted effort, when you see something, it pops into your feed. You don't know this person, but it popped into your feed because someone in your network commented or liked it, and you read it and go, that was really interesting. Actually, I don't know this person, but go follow them. And then you'll get more of their posts, and do that with a bunch of people. I go through, I call it like weeding your garden. Like you gotta, a lot of people complain that their feed is just a bunch of crap. And I say, well, you're not following the right people then. So go follow people who consistently share stuff that is interesting and relevant and valuable. And then you'll never have a hard time commenting 3, 5, 6 times a day. It'll be easy because you'll want to, because you'll be, oh my God, that was really,
And
I learned
unfollow the
something here. I
ones
got a
that are
question over there,
unfollow the ones that aren't that
Yeah.
have crap content. Like
Yeah.
they're transactional, right? They're sending you nonsense that isn't making any sense. So
Yeah. And if
unfollow.
somebody's going on about politics or whatever and you don't want it, you can just block them, mute
You
them.
can
Or,
also there's a setting you can like suppress them for a couple days or a
yeah,
month.
yeah.
Yeah.
So bottom line, Emily, if you're finding it's a strain to comment, you're not following the right people, because
Like how many times
it
do
should
I
be
say
easy. It should be easy and
congratulations?
enjoyable.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because the most enjoyable posts are actually the ones where my network is liking something or loving something, or like, and I'm not connected to them, but I'm like, "Ooh, that looks interesting," so I'm gonna follow them
Yeah,
now.
go
You
follow
know,
them. And you can go further. You can ring their bell, which means you'll actually get a notification. There's a little bell on the
Mhm.
profile. So you follow them, and then you'll at least have a fighting chance of seeing their posts. If you
Yeah.
follow someone now, you will see several of their posts in the coming week or two, because you've sent a clear signal to LinkedIn that you want that person. And if you continue to if engage, it doesn't have to be every post, but if you do engage several times over that 2 weeks, you've really sort of cemented that bond, and LinkedIn will keep sending their stuff to you. Um, if you follow them and then you don't engage for a while, then LinkedIn thinks maybe you've changed your mind. So if they're like really important to you, then go to their profile and click that link. Then you'll get a notification when they share. Or just follow them and make an effort to engage a couple of times over the next 2 weeks.
I love that. Well, I'll
We
let you
got
know how
another
it
question.
goes.
Oh, sorry, Emily.
I just said I'll let you know how it goes, Steve.
Yeah. We have another question from Daniel. How much time do you recommend spending on LinkedIn on an average day?
The best answer I ever heard to that question was a senior executive on a panel, and he said, "Everyone asks me that, but no one ever asks me how long I should spend on the phone every day, or how long I should spend in my email every day, or how long I should spend in Slack every day. I spend as much time as it takes to do my job and do it well." And so he said, that's my approach to LinkedIn. I thought, wow, I like that answer. I'm going to go with that. But it's a little bit flippant. So, I mean, it depends a lot on your objectives. If you are in an active job search, I think you should probably spend like an hour a day on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
And I'm not even including the time that you're reading job postings and applying to them. I mean, like an hour a day between sharing something, engaging with a bunch of people, following more people. I would absolutely put an hour a day into that. If I'm not in an active job search and I'm working, long days and everything, that's not feasible. But far better to spend 15 minutes a day than nothing. And what I find for myself, it's part of my morning ritual. Like before my first call, I've done email, Slack, and LinkedIn every single day. And before I go to bed at night, I look at when's my first call in the morning because I'm going to give myself enough time to do LinkedIn, Slack, and email before that first call. And if I didn't, I wouldn't feel right to me. And then I come back again later in the day when I have a gap, between calls or call gets canceled or something. That's my opportunity to come back. Some people calendar like 15 minutes a day. Or you just make it a habit to do it. But I mean, I think, something in that 15 minutes a day and up, depending on your perspective or your objectives.
Awesome. I think we have a question, like one more minute for one last question. If anyone has another question.
I like Sean's gift there. That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah, that I have that mug. I do. Um, Anybody? I guess, Steve, if no one else has a question, and please interrupt me if there is. Like, what are some of the mistakes that, like, the top three mistakes that we can kind of make sure we don't make?
Um, doing nothing, like just
Doing nothing, yeah.
sitting it out is the far and away the biggest mistake. Being super transactional and robotic would be the second one. Um, you know, I there's a GIF I share occasionally on LinkedIn, and it's the musician Psy, Gangnam Style, and he pops up out of the stage, and there's like a roaring crowd, and it's this big, and I say like, you're not Psy. I'm not Psy. Don't think that you can ignore LinkedIn for 2 years and then pop up when you're looking for a job, and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my God, Jen! Oh, I need to hire you." You're not Psy. Don't just pop up when you want something. It rubs people the wrong way. If you're never there for others, if you never like and comment and engage with other people's content, don't think they're going to engage with yours. If you never help other people when things are going well for you, don't think they're going to help you when you need it. So don't be selfish and don't think you're Psy and just pop up transactionally when you want something. I think those are that would probably be my biggest mistake that I see people make.
Awesome. Well, we're right at time, so I want to thank everyone for joining. Those who put questions and comments, please continue to connect. We have our next session the last Tuesday of February. We're going to have an exciting session then. You'll see that on the calendar soon. But Steve, thank you so much. This was super. I know we all learned something during this, and so we'll get this recording up on YouTube. But yeah, we'll have the slides sent out and shared. I do have a request from Fran to take a look at her profile, so I'll send you her profile link and you can get in contact with her
Yeah, if
to.
anyone had a question that either we just didn't get to or you didn't want to ask in front of the group and you just want to shoot me a message on LinkedIn, I'll do my best to answer. So thanks, everyone. Hey, Jen, Emily, thanks again for inviting me. Sorry I didn't really leave any time at the end for housekeeping stuff,
This
but
was great. This
yeah.
was great. Action packed the whole way through. The best slides ever.
All right. Well, thanks, everyone. Have a
Thanks,
wonderful week.
everybody.